I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Franklin Tourism Commission and start this evening by calling roll. Jeff Kadursky.
Here.
Bill Elliott.
Here.
Barbara Wisner.
Here.
Mark Wiley.
Here.
Would you all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Citizen comment period. Opening that at black and anyone present. Gallery. We will close the citizen comment period and move on to the approval of our draft minutes from the July 2nd. Copy of those minutes in your packet. Are there questions, comments on the minutes?
I make a motion to approve.
I
By
will
Jeff to
second.
approve. We've got a second by Barbara. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes approved. Reports. We have the customary Engage Franklin report. Would like to start off, Mark?
I'm going to turn it over to Laura and Brandon because they have everything to say.
Okay.
Well, why don't you start with activities? Basically, yeah, activities.
Okay, so updates on our end. We signed a partnership with DY Sports. They're going to be bringing 4 tournaments, but they have a 5th one. It's just in the Milk Yard, so it's not technically in Franklin, but they will be put in our hotels. Well, basically, this partnership is an incentive contract where they bring in hotel room nights, then we give them a paycheck. So they have to bring in something in order for them to get something. Bring nothing. So it's an incentive contract for them. So that's exciting. And Snowband is coming up soon, here in November. We got a horseshoe competition. They're well known. They've had events all over the United States. They actually have some, I think, 2 in Wisconsin coming up in 2028 and 2029. We will be getting them in 2030. That's how booked in advance. So they will be coming on a visit in the fall. They're wrapping up their season, and so once they're done with that, he said by mid-September he will let us know when he can come on a visit. Franklin, great city that we have, and hopefully we can put them in the future. That's all future stuff. Even our bidding will be in.
Where would that be held?
Right now, Tammy from Root River offered. So I'm gonna give her the opportunity when they come on a visit. See her case. They don't have a, so they're gonna be visiting and see where they want it. I'm assuming you could be any club, man. It's just put it on the ground and thing. And so DY Sports now they also are partnering with a pickleball organization, URP, I believe. I don't know exactly what it stands for. Basically, they're like the #1 app where they keep like, I don't know if you know about pickleball. They keep ratings 5, 2.5, 4. Basically, that's the level of talent you have. And they do tournaments, like minor league tournaments. So I'm working on game information and like pickleball sports that we have here in Lions Legend. So I have a meeting tomorrow with John, and we're going to try to get this by next August. So next will be a year in advance. And we got a few other basketball organizations that are very beginning stage. We have another one coming in the fall for a fall visit. Look at our basketball courts. And yeah, that's kind of big events that that's so far. Whenever and we have the Root River Classic. The Root River Classic is going to be going on for like a month and a half, I believe.
Is that the bowling tournament?
Yeah. So that should bring in a lot. Our winner, we should have pretty good between the basketball, Novana, and our Root River Classic to bring in. To see some new numbers. I just never know. Very promising because I don't know if I said this, but the basketball tournaments are now state qualifiers. So when he did that on all his other cities, the team like sign up went up like 30, 40% to the state qualifier. You go there, you qualify, and move on. Addison has a state tournament, and Illinois has a state. So now we are journey. Like I'm a team. I'm the Kobe Bryant. I go play in Franklin. I win the championship, and I qualify for it.
And that's at the Mosh, right? Is that
Yeah, that's a must. I mean, we needed other courts, but everything else.
Yeah.
Franklin Middle School and high school are both filled. Winter. Sports complex doesn't have basketball. Because it's turned over.
Sorry to put you back, 'cause side, but have there been talks with about
Like for following year, that
Mhm.
I could get that.
It'd be
I
a
could
good-
get that started. Yeah, I could.
Now, Snowvana's the snow gear retailers,
Yeah,
right, coming together and putting that
yeah.
up.
Basically, it's counted.
They just gather it all together, get people to.
Yeah, been slowly, kind of marketing what we not as much as they are.
Well, that also was that meeting of the ski resort
Yes,
owners.
that's so they're
like,
basically
it was a
bringing two
business meeting
events.
also.
So a lot of we mentioned this earlier, but a lot of ski resorts are coming in for having a convention. So they're having a convention the day before the actual.
Really?
So now that's probably where a lot of the hotels stay.
And where are the convention? I mean,
I
where
think
was the convention?
in Lux.
At the Lux?
At the, kind of what I was like. It was like kind of like, hey, we're giving you a good deal for the rent. Have your thing.
Yeah, we should start that conversation.
Yeah, I could
By the
start that
time they're
easily.
heading out,
We
We've
could
already
book
got
them
that
for the
back.
next following.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think. I mean, they're very excited. They loved it. Every time people come, they've never seen anything like it. Usually, they do it in like gyms, public places, public schools. Like that. Like John from DY Sports is like, I want this to be our second. Other than Seattle,
It's DY Sports? Or is
yeah,
there a-
development use.
I've done significantly less than Brandon. So all I've managed to bring for an update is thank you all for taking the poll for the session that will be facilitated with Bill Geist. So that date has been set. It's October 15th. The time can be varied. I picked 3 to 6 because it seemed like a reasonable time. So I'd love feedback on that today. And if you originally stated that you could not make it that day, I talked with Bill about it, and he said that observation virtually he will definitely encourage, but participation can be cumbersome because of how involved it is and like that. I'm sure we've all been like that before, but we'll make every possible arrangement to at least keep everybody in the loop for, at the very minimum. Of course, we can also record and have AI note takers, and he'll also be tasked with providing a summary and an analysis and next steps and all those types of things we'll pay him for. But it's always nice to have like real-time conversation if possible.
Yeah, it was the 15th of October,
October,
3 to 6 p.m.
unless otherwise time-wise. Yeah, we didn't meet most recently this month because I couldn't make it in other, summer stuff. So we're working to get that rescheduled.
And we have a financial
Yeah.
report.
So for Q2, these are the docs that statement of activity for the first quarter. I can step through. This is where the majority of the detail would come in about where the money is going. So yeah, essentially on the expenses side, obviously you know where the money comes from.
You want activity or position?
Activity is great. Yeah, that's the one
Okay.
that I'll be able to provide most people with. So advertising and marketing, that line item there for just over $1,000. Those are Facebook campaigns, boosted reels, all the things that Brandon does to help promote the events that we've acquired and to support partner businesses. Print marketing, that was for visitors guide for coupons and for the sports ETA venue sheet. So when he went to Tulsa to have those one-on-one meetings, he obviously, it's customary to have these are our venues, that sort of thing, a snapshot. So he designed and printed those. So that's what the print marketing line item covered. Graphic design and web design, that's stuff through iNet. So updates to our website, probably the designing of certain things, throughout, but I know that you know a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Brandon.
it's not. I don't know what graphic.
So it's probably,
It's
so
just
it's
web
basically
design.
web updates.
Yeah,
Okay.
graphic design. I do all that.
Donation to the other organizations, those are the $500 a pop. We set aside that $2,000 for the year, and then as people come that are mission adjacent, then we will support those, as we see fit.
Just while I'm thinking about it, you received the $500 payment from the tourism commission, correct, from our last.
I don't believe that. Oh,
Have you been to the PO
maybe
box
I haven't
recently?
been to the PO box recently. So
Okay.
Probably there.
Okay.
It's
Maybe
probably
make
in
a
the PO
trip.
And that's going to
Yeah.
marry up then to another 500 from,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, and we had that will be.
It's probably in
Mhm.
the check.
Yep, and Brandon's been in touch with their center. They have everything they need. They understand the gravity of making sure that we are represented, both the Tourism Commission and PH Franklin, so that we don't have, we can avoid as much as possible. So with that, mileage reimbursement, just like it sounds, for Brandon driving around. Office expense, he purchased a storage hard drive because of all the files we own. Memberships,
By the way, are you still able to office out of, I know it's a Regis co-working space now, but are you officing out of there, or are you?
he's officing out of his home right
You're
now.
just doing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
down at Van.
Work anywhere.
Or yeah, coffee shop, whatever it might be.
Coffee shop, anywhere.
Yeah, we don't want to necessarily spend money on that. If we do make that move, it'll be like, yep. And then memberships and subscriptions, that's HubSpot, our CRM, QuickBooks, QR code generator, that's Sports ETA is a subscription, essentially a membership on an annual basis. So there are just a number of things that add up to that line item. And that's, I'm sorry, software and apps were the things I just mentioned. What were those memberships and subscriptions? We had,
Yeah, we got like Doodle, Apple Storage.
Okay. I know you laid it out for me
Yeah,
earlier. I didn't get a chance to make the notes. A number of different subscription services, some of which he's already canceled, and some of which were
Yeah,
front
some were
ended.
just like,
You know,
like, let me test it out, see if it's useful. Like SurveyMonkey, I thought that was going to be very useful for us. But when I look back, once visitor's guide too, my idea was to scan the QR code and get some feedback from the actual visitors. We have to do
we'll have to
incentive
activate.
program.
We have to
Yeah,
activate it.
we have to
somehow.
do some sort of incentive program to help them. I don't know.
How many QR codes do you just scan for the heck of it, right?
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess me being a visitor too. So I was just trying to get feedback from them, so I just ended up canceling. Working out for us, but it was a test in the visitor side.
Yeah. And that's basically the rundown of where the money is gone. Obviously, we for Q2 ended up spending $25,305.80. Took in about 10 less than that, so we're just operating conservatively. No big projects that took place outside of the acquisition of fence. Took time, which is also investment. So here we are, and I'm happy to Brandon and I both happy to field questions. We at our board meetings, obviously review financials on a monthly basis. So any of our board members should go over. Your judge.
Brandon, you under contract and professional fees, that's your,
That's
That's just
him.
my.
and
that's
you're,
just,
you're in that role of independent contractor.
yeah,
too,
so
right?
I'm
Yeah.
payroll.
And that's what we got for Q2. If you wanted to take at the position document as well, it doesn't really tell a huge story, but so that you have it.
I just have a question. The bottom line there is a negative 9,000. Does that continue to go forward every quarter?
No, I mean we had a very obviously our cash flow varies. And we had a
Okay.
low cash flow quarter,
I see.
so we anticipate staying obviously in the black, but just for this particular
And it's
quarter.
when we cashed it actually. Too. That's when we'll be kind of like. And we got 2 more checks after, literally July.
I
So
see.
July is technically not the second quarter.
Mhm.
So July is going to be a positive.
I see.
And,
Okay.
and there hasn't been much activity. In like spending, it's like been kind of my paycheck and stuff for the contract. But it'll be positive probably
Okay.
next. It really just depends when we get the check and then when we cash it, and then that's when Joe says. Because Joe just looks at our bank statement. And like say we got those checks 3 days before, they would have been,
And the payment voucher we're about to provide it later, if you take a look at that amount, that impact. Revenues,
yeah.
that would be, I'm guessing most of that's from
I would
June.
say so.
That what I'm saying.
And I think a
You
lot
have
of
a year-to-date number?
not right now. I just
Yeah, but
gathered the
maybe
Q2.
that's,
Yeah.
then it'll show the true picture.
Yeah, I don't have it handy. I apologize, but I can forward it to you. Our most recent.
Just, I mean,
Yeah.
that's like anything, month to month is harder than,
Got it. And then any larger project spend be by our October meeting.
Yeah.
So with you guys having a full scope of where we are year to date and what we anticipate, and that way we can have very informed conversation.
Anything else? Moves the reports. Moving on to unfinished business. We had investment, and a marker for the investment retained funds for a while now, and open discussion with Franklin. So, based on the news you shared with us just now about get together with the guys on October 15th. Guess we'll open it up to other things we need to discuss regarding the investment strategy or the strategy for those investing funds and how that relates to Franklin. Yes, now.
I don't have anything right now. I look forward to the feedback, right? To craft a more formal version of future, right? So I think I don't want to bring something to the table and have it be a miss, right? I'd rather have us all talk about it at the same table so that we know whatever business plan we're working toward moving forward is comprehensive.
To take full advantage of the presence of both of you here, other commission members, questions for Engage Franklin in relation to the planning of this event on October 15th, or related to investment, the discussion of coming up with a vision.
Well, about the October 15th meeting, has there been kind of an agenda together, kinds of things that will be covered?
It will be put together. I had a phone conversation with Bill once we selected the date, and I wanted to, give him a full scope of what we wanted. He and I had a very long discovery call originally, but then some time had passed, so I wanted to make sure that he felt confident we could achieve. We're looking to achieve 3 hours, and he is. And with the participation that we had laid out, and he is. So from that, we had the conversation, and he's currently drafting an agenda of what he believes would get us the best results and get us the closest to our end game in that period of time. I will obviously, as soon as I have a draft of that, get over to John so that he can share it with you guys, so that you guys can provide feedback on missing, if you think there's an outcome that we need to focus closer on, if you think there's somewhere where you're going to be spinning wheels and it's not really worthy of that conversation. So that was a long answer to say yes, there will be.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thanks.
We have an item on here, and I think it was basically what on here based on how conversations might go, talking about this. So, I know. No, yeah, I think it's learned tonight. Okay. Keeping in mind, we'll have one more mission before the 15th, and then depending on how October falls, on the third Wednesday of every month, I think that we will be at the meeting. Is it that Wednesday?
Oh, look at me
Yeah.
do that. Sorry.
Because depending on where we have
Oh,
our
sure.
joint meeting, go from there to here, have our regular meeting.
Yeah, it is. It's 1st of October, is Wednesday, 15th. All right. Well, we'll move along.
Would it be helpful if I moved it to like 2:30 to 5:30 then? Give people time to transition. Don't want to.
Well, we haven't decided the October date for our meeting, too.
That's right.
I mean, it's not locked in stone, though.
Right. Yeah, so why don't we hold off on it? That's
Keep
fine.
it the way it is right now.
There's a time. All right. Then move on to new business. And we have 2026 budget.
And you have a copy of the good part is instead of printing a portrait wise,
Wonderful. Good to see you guys.
Unless
say
you guys
one
love
thing.
budget discussions.
Just one thing, before you guys have this, youth basketball in the winter, just like to put in your heads, strategic planning to that's just like being in the day-to-day, talking to these basketball organizations, they want to come. We just don't have that much. With Mosh, only having 4 courts, the middle school and the high school booked all winter. Just planning, like, I know I'm part of the meeting, but I don't have like much say. So like, just like the day-to-day talking to these organizations, they want to come. We do have a good. I can't imagine like the way baseball is in the summer, like basketball.
Information on that at that October 15th.
Yeah, like,
meeting would
if
be
we
very
could
helpful, right? About
see-
what you see as the
Yeah,
potential.
just like how can we help bring that? even
What are we
more,
talking about?
You know,
If
like
you could
just like,
draft, essentially, you're on like outlining, bullet
Yeah.
points, facts, figures, numbers,
Yeah.
what you think the potential is, why, all those things.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just stop with youth basketball. Any other Any
Yeah.
other things that you're running into that you feel should be discussed in
Right.
detail?
I just
Use
think
a-
youth is
Use a facility like that, right?
Yeah, like, if we could get
What do you
Right.
need to make that
courts,
happen?
Exactly.
you
Right.
know.
Need
Right.
courts.
Cause there's so many times like they want to come, they loved it, but we didn't have enough courts.
Yep.
And they're like, and we just missed them, you know,
That's
because
good.
we don't have that much courts to provide their big tournaments. We had an Adidas tournament. It was like over 90 plus teams. We just literally couldn't.
We also have to
You
think
know.
about our hotel capacity and
Yeah.
how much we'd be giving,
Yeah.
that way of spending to get people.
So if that's something we want to grow, I just want to put it out there, be day to day, speaking to.
This would be fall, winter.
Yeah, this
Right,
would be
pretty much,
indoor, fall, winter. I usually when they ask for the summer, I go, you could come, but we're not gonna be able to because our hotels are because of baseball, and they could come if they want. But when I say that, they go, okay, let's fall. So like we got DY Sports, like John is gonna be a great partner. He loves it here. But it's just like I don't want to just one partner. I want to make this like what baseball is in the summer. I want basketball and pickleball to be. I just want to throw it out there, just because of what I see.
Was it DIY or
DY Development Youth.
Okay, very
Sports.
nice.
Yeah,
Just
I was
want to make
hearing
sure I
a
got the
follow in
notes
there.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
I could have missed it before.
Yeah,
Brandon,
that's all
you're
I
crushing
gotta
it.
say.
You're doing a really
Yeah,
good
that's
job
all
with
I
that.
gotta say.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a lovely evening. I will see you Friday.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, John, I was, maybe you forgot what you had on the screen. So,
Well, we can.
what, yeah.
So the page you have has the, actually, I kind of like how this printed out because it gets rid of a lot of the confusing numbers and subsequent columns. Encumbered to date, unencumbered balance confuses more people than it helps. Budget to date doesn't help much either. Because that's just how much you spend pro rata over the calendar year, and who does that? So, anyways, what I wanted to do is give you a chance to think about the expenditures that you have and Tourism Commission, and so we probably will be looking for $2026 projected revenues. Us going to be 6830, and so we're going to have to probably do our own math from this projection table for 70% of that. If you want
Of what the,
to, 360. Times 75%. So that's 276,097. That's projected. So, and I can double check the numbers, but just based on what you have for a budget this year, like I was talking about before, we can, and I put a placeholder in the city's budgeting process, but reduced these expenditures in
tourism, yeah, right.
That's
right?
us.
So 368, and you're taking 25% of that for what we would have for our budget, right?
Well, no, this is, the tourism entity is what comes to us.
Right. That's,
So,
that we're giving
Se-
75%.
75% of
goes back
that
out.
would
Goes
go
to
to engage Franklin.
So for our budgeting purposes, then, are we just looking at like this $92,000, which would be 25% of 368? Or are we,
Well,
It was sundry
It's-
contractors,
or sundry contractors?
sundry contractors would be 276.
and that's who's
That's
engaged.
engaged?
That's engage. Engage is sundry contract. So, but looking at this, you know, I took a look at the budget here, and as I mentioned before, you know, with the marketing services, the $15,000 of that, it seems like something that we could easily send to engage. So, 2,500 of that could go to engage too. The $35,000 grant tourism program. I guess the only thing, yeah, and I guess really what more I'm looking at also is the only $5,000 in the billboard. Send 10,000 of it up to engage, and you know, again, the tourism program. Then we can take a look at add those up, and that makes a pretty substantial difference in what they have to work with,
Right.
year in year out basis. You know, tourism grant program, if we go to use that $100,000 dedicated portion of the fund to the Croatian soccer field, we're going to end up just going to reserves anyways. So, I mean, make the math a little easier. So, I don't know what else we have. I think we're going to do with the tourism program. But I leave that up to you, and that's basically what I did in.
Can I ask I'm sorry, I know I missed the last meeting. What's included in the current marketing services line and the advertising line?
What's included in
Yeah,
that?
like what is that
What
used
we
for
used
right
that
now?
before is we did a marketing study,
Mm-hmm.
and we did that.
Oh, sure.
Carl Collective at the time, it's Brooks Communication now,
Yeah, I
and
remember seeing that.
so that was a marketing study, and we shared it with Engage, and that's what told us what potential was for soccer.
Mhm.
So, haven't done any studies with that since. And like I say, this year, that's available for Engage to use by telling us we want to do it, so we're responsible, and they can utilize it. You know, the grant fund, obviously, there's the paperwork, and that's available. So, let's see, the other thing, let's see, events. Tourism events, I think I reduced to 1,000 because that's what we're looking at. 5. And I leave it to you folks to figure that out, because I mean, if you take a look at year-to-date balance, that's what we've been using. You see all those categories where we haven't used anything.
I'm sorry, what's the tourism event?
Tourism events, that was for for events like the Franklin Parks concert series, and and Weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had those, and assumed that we would have that kind of activity, and maybe something more than that. So, but it's not being used except for the $500. This will show up. That'll show up in next month's statement. Something more productive. And this is year in, year out. This is annual budget.
That's, so obviously obviously, if we're on track for another year where there's going to be, going to end up in detention, you know.
Well, if it's in those categories, yeah.
Yeah. So, we see a good point about having the, looking at what we currently under the budget and thinking about turning that over or signing that to a Franklin. Question I have, and I'm but we know that we have a 75% funds we city get over to. And it's my general belief, where I'd like you all to chime in, but no, that's not exactly my general belief that subject to the board of directors of Engage Franklin and the oversight, not the right word, but maybe oversight, or the auditing by the tourism of how those funds are spent. Make sure that they're spent on increasing overnight stays. That we have some limited, it's basically audit, we make suggestions, we have a responsibility to do that, I think, under that agreement, but it's not like it's targeted by us, right? It goes into their general fund. What occurred to me as John was talking about these other funds, if the additional funds moved over to Franklin, instead of adding to, upping the percentages, which was take these funds and maybe they're targeted. So they're coming across, but they will be spent on this. So they will be spent on that through Engage Franklin. Engage Franklin takes those funds. You know, yes. I don't know if that is a violation of our current agreement with them or if that can be done.
I thought it was set up that they could always approach us for more funding, but would give us more authority over what they were doing.
But we could target maybe, or we could
Right.
say this needs to be spent on the website, or this needs to, these funds are for this. And is that?
I think it's common practice within the relationship between tourism commissions and tourism entities for that to happen.
It is.
In some instances, but not talking about this contract specifically without reading it. You can build in clauses to contracts. You can say we're going to dedicate $35,000 to a grant program for XYZ that you'll. It's really an opportunity, but it's looking at the contract, right, and see what's in there right now. Do we need to update it? Do we need to ask for an amendment? That kind of stuff.
I was thinking that same thing when you were talking about possibly giving more money to Engage. I'd like them to perhaps tell us we could use $10,000 to do something, and then we give it to them, or we give them the money with the understanding that this is what we expect to be paid for, rather than just get into their pot and let them decide what. So I think I'd like to see us have a little more control, auditing, oversight, whatever you want to call it.
Bill, in your experience with that relationship, have you seen hybrid, like you said, agreements where we're going to, okay, your funding from us is a percentage of what we're getting from the city, plus of the city's room tax, and these, targeted amounts for this program or that program are institutionalized by the
I have the percentage piece of it that makes me uneasy. It happens, but I think it's within the spirit of the tax law in Wisconsin, but it is happening. So I'll put it that way. And our role as the commission is really the oversight of those funds should be used, right? So that's where that piece of it comes. I think we want to make sure there's a grant program to help create events in Franklin that are generating overnight stays. That's completely within our purview to put it in. If we decide we want to build a convention center bigger than the Baird Center in downtown Milwaukee, it's completely within our purview as a commission, right? To appropriate the dollars that way. But it's not our job to do it, right? That's the real difference.
purchases, I mean, now that we've got a year or two of operation with Gage Franklin under our belt, we know it's a commission. There are requests that are made back and forth with Gage Franklin. Some, there are dollar amounts here that just sit. Could be.
Well, I mean, for this year, I guess, again, my message, Mark, please use $35,000 in the grant and the marketing service. And actually this year in the streetscape fund. Well, that's $65,000. And the only one of them probably would have to ask us to make a change in the budget. But the thing is, that's going to $5,000 because these new banner brackets have worked out phenomenal.
They've done well.
Do you remember the week after we got them put up, that the big old windstorm that came through? That was the week after we put them up.
And they held, huh?
Yeah, well, I didn't hear any complaining from the street department that they had to pick up any busted banners, so yes, it worked. Yes, it worked.
Okay, great. So our ongoing maintenance on that is basically new banner purchases to, maybe there's a tear in one or they fade, but the brackets seem solid, and that's something that can last for quite a while. Or if we add new locations, somehow.
If you wanted to add more banners, I'm going to regret saying this, but you can change out banners for different seasons and celebrations.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
sounds like something that cities that are larger and have more money than us do. But you know, Christmas, some places put Christmas. It's most common. Right.
Some communities will put up banners with photos of their military
Yep.
people.
Military
their
heroes.
soldiers,
Yep, I've
yes.
seen those. Yep.
And they, of course, will with the season. But they're not paid for by the city. The banners are paid for by the family.
Sponsor.
Mhm.
Ah, okay, that
Right,
makes
so it's
sense.
not a total expense on the part of the
Right.
city.
Is it possible, John, to make a request to understand what it would cost to do a banner change out on a Labor Day?
I mean, cost to
So we want to change banners. We don't want to. We're not going to scrap the ones we have, but we've got a citywide event coming.
Yep.
And it's huge. We want to say welcome to
Yeah, I can.
2026, whatever.
I would ask. I could ask
We just
our
gotta-
contractor about
But
change
because,
out
yeah,
costs.
just what is that labor to change out? So we can work that into it.
Snowbana or whatever, right?
Right,
Because
because that's impactful. If you've ever been to a community that's, there's something big going on, and all their banners are saying, welcome to the attendees.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good use.
If I remember correctly, the new banners cost $14,000. So we know it's going to cost at least that,
14 to print new banners.
plus whatever we put on top. And so to do it the first time, it'll be the same as what we paid this time, which is about $36,000. Back up and take a look. I'll have to take a look.
Yeah, because then once that event's over, you got to pay money to swap back to whatever.
Yeah.
And that's
back.
the cost that I'm just curious. What's that
Yep.
swapping cost every time you want to swap out banners? It's very possible the banner cost can be covered by the event itself, but swapping them out may end up arbitrary.
they'll lock in a 10-year deal, and then we can get them all the banners they want.
Don't get John to it. All right.
So we could do quick and dirty math to come up with a budget.
When do you have to have the budget turned in? Yesterday.
I'll be presenting a budget next month.
Okay.
Budgets
In
no,
September.
in September is when we do our presentations. Actually, tail end of August. I better check and see what they are. Thanks for reminding me. I gotta check my
Sorry.
calendar. I better not be out of town that day, which is never a problem.
So when you mentioned the mark, let's just make you're talking about for the 2025 budget, because we're moving towards the fourth quarter here, taking a dollar amount, just saying, you know what, here you go, engage Franklin. Is that what we're talking about?
I'm telling about, you, like I said before, you just get to do the budget this year.
All right.
But it's really not too hard, but. So, but if you have that consideration, if that's something you want to think about, then tell me what your parameters are, and then I'll do what I just told you I did, placeholder, and see if we can't put titles on.
Yeah. You've gone through these are traditional line items here, and you've determined, okay, what, if we move some items over to Engage Franklin, what do we really need to have in the budget? Correct? You're kind of basing it on just because we haven't spent this in the past, or we, you know, this looks like it could something Engage Franklin would, you know. So it seems like it's a twofold. I mean, we certainly determine those amounts or make a stab at that, but it's also this oversight goal, you know, auditing situation. What does that look like for the funds that over to Engage? You have to, in September here, you have to present the budget.
Yeah, we'll present it, and they, you know, you're supposed to present your budget before November, something like that. 7th. I think it's on the 7th, and we're always behind because that's when we get there. Yeah, we do present them the initial budgets to the council next month.
And at when is that council meeting?
It's not a council meeting; it's actually budget meetings.
Oh, okay.
Well, and I shouldn't say the council, would be the budget. And then the council will try to finalize in November, typically. That's why they want.
So assuming that we need to vote as a commission to approve that budget, right, that you're presenting, we have our next meeting date. There are these budget meetings happening. They happen before.
They probably, like I say, I've got a placement in there that's pretty much approximate. We can, but I'll double check it.
Even if you do like marketing funding, whether we retain it, something, or it still should be the dollar amount there. You know, we're still going to earmark for marketing, still going to earmark it for, you know, it should be in the budget, our budget. Somehow we're going to market. Whether we go and get a marketing agency, make a TV commercial for us, and you know, or we decide we're going to Engage has a great opportunity for this market where say yes, we still have to dictate that funding, but it should still be marketing. So I mean, so you know,
so if I'm hearing you right, we can reallocate to sundry contractors, for example,
correct,
because it's moving over to engagement,
which is what I do.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's
okay. So that takes
pretty budget-wise. The approval should be pretty.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can figure
we're
out.
pretty much be around the same. When does the money go towards the field? Or what is any updates on that at all? Or
I haven't asked recently. It goes to them when they feel comfortable that they can pull the trigger. And
that's why I don't know if
bidding.
they had other progress.
The last time they came in, they didn't have a date.
Right.
They had to resolve that, the water drainage.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard anything on that at all.
They've done
Yeah.
that. They've done that. It's expensive. And so they've got to determine when they have enough funds raised.
Right.
But they did
It's
say that.
it's all this rain. I'm wondering how.
They did say they'd come back and tell us when they were ready.
So that's another. Because we're working off assumption that
What's coming in as a whole?
what we sitting in.
We should have about 500,000.
Oh, okay. All right.
500,000.
100 dropped just done about 4. That. Okay. That's what I wanted. I've had this 400 as far as what we might be looking to come up with a vision for it. And I didn't want to see it go from 4 to 3 because before,
Yeah, I thought the 4 was ahead of the.
so that's good.
Could I ask real quick, for the sundry contractors, after 7 months of the year, it looks like we haven't used 50%. Are we planning on spending all $268,000 with them? Or is that not how the contract?
This, right now, our provision is we send 75% all the receipts that come in.
So that was based off the
And-
projection, so.
We did that because it's the fastest way to get dollars into their hands, and then we don't, then I let the finance department worry about
Right.
when the receipts came.
That makes sense. And the first quarter of the year is slow for.
So just to give you an idea, so this is 122 through June, right, or no, July.
Yep.
But this does not take into account this voucher that we're about ready to pay, right?
Nope.
So that's 86. So you had 86 to 122, you're 200,000. That's the first and second quarters. We have one more nice quarter coming third. And won't be quite like, well, actually it will be.
Yeah, it will
July,
be.
August, September, it's going to be better than this. So you could anticipate another $90,000 or more going to them. They'll be, instead of 268, they're going to be.
The revenues are gonna be up for the end of the current year and the very beginning of the following.
All right. But so from a budgeting standpoint, it's so you've done some good work, John, to come up with these placeholders, provide something to the city, but it seems like there's a review of those dollar amounts and just being able to bring it up in front of the commission and get a vote on it prior to getting into budget hearing.
But the budget hearing itself is where I discuss it with the city. And I can do with them just like I did with you. And they'll have, last year's and the year before that. It'll have the activity.
I guess, do you need a motion made by this commission to walk into that budget hearing to approve budget? No. The pressure is off so we have that figured out.
Like I say, we approved it like third week of November, or special meetings.
So we
for
could
the
use our
second week.
September budget, or September meeting then to really come up with something.
Yeah, and basically I did what Jack just said. It's obviously it's earmarked for the sundry contract. It just doesn't necessarily reflect the segmentation of the contract versus extra stuff we want to spend. And they'll see that. They'll see it because past year's budgets will show and the current expenditures will show like here. It's like this, but it'll have past year's expenses. And so then they'll be able to see what I've done because dollars haven't been spent in other categories.
And John, your meeting with the city is really more informational, isn't it? Because they really don't have any
The budget hearing,
control
yes,
for this,
correct.
these dollars.
It is.
Okay. You like to make sure they're happy, but they
Well,
don't.
I like it. I want the record to be correct and in agreement between the city's budget because that way nobody accuses this body of reporting properly or being responsible. The city of not being responsible, checking up on what's going on with these.
I would think
it's good when the finance reports agree.
I would think at the October meeting, hoping we're getting more direction from the age where they want to go with us and what they're, to me, I would like to see that, like, okay, we're lacking this. This is how we can, so that's maybe after we get that dictated. Or, at any time. I mean, if they say they want to buy use it for marketing for a new booklet. Okay, well, maybe we should look at that and say yes or no and dedicate the funding for it. Maybe we should be a little bit more selective than just say, here's money.
Yeah, so I'm getting that. Barbara mentioned that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to see them sell us on why they need more money and what they're going to do with it, right?
Yeah.
It's,
Exactly. Before we move off of the budget or the dollar discussion, I have a question, I guess, or comment. Last year, the Tourism Commission was the major sponsor of the library's literary event that was held last fall. And the commission,
Involved beer, if I remember.
yes, it did. Yeah, we did serve it, yes, we did.
The history
and-
of brewing and watching.
Yes, that was John Gerda and Beer in Milwaukee, which of course was a great topic. Our literary event this year is featuring a best-selling author, Nick Petrie, who is a Milwaukee native, has written 7 or 8 books now. One of them, and they all feature in some way this character, Peter Ash is his name, who's from Milwaukee. And the last one that he just wrote, it starts off with the murder in the public market. Everything happens in Milwaukee. So it's very much of a Milwaukee-focused or area-focused novelist. So I'm not quite sure if I should, if I can ask this group to again be a sponsor. Last year was $1,000 to be the major sponsor of that. And this is sponsored by the Franklin Public Library Foundation, and I'm president of that foundation, so obviously I'm bringing this to this group. And it's a fundraiser, and the funds will be used to renovate the children's area in the library. That's the of it. I have flyers. Which wish to be there. That'd be wonderful. It's on Thursday, September 25th. So, is this a time? Should I be asking this group for a sponsorship or not? I'm kind of not sure. Well,
Have we started now telling everybody to go through Engage instead of this board?
I'm not sure if we've told anybody that, but if that's what needs to be done, because, Ware got half their funding from us and from Engage, right?
And do we have any from, and this is a question for library that they feel like it's a question from for any of the events that we're giving money to.
Right.
Do we have any data on how much tourism that they've created in the community in the past? How many room nights and those kind of things?
No. And I'm not sure that this is going to mean people are going to come into town and stay the night. I admit that. But it is sponsoring a major event for the library and supporting the library. I guess similar to Ware and similar to the concerts, it helps to elevate the image of the city. Community.
Based on our experience this year, yes, we have when we've received requests like I know we've been in the past.
Mm-hmm.
This year we have made more of a concerted effort to move those requests to Engage Franklin. That'd be a fair. And I think it's because look at those type of see the value and figure out how they with any how they be visitation. I think your question, I think I know the answer, but it's, and I don't know if it's an answer that, will be consistent with, or it will not be the same as what we might have said last year. But it also brings up the whole, the funding that we have that over to Franklin. Anyone want to weigh in on that question, though, about an event like this?
Well, look, the form we created, where does that go?
The what? I'm
The
sorry.
form,
The grant,
the grant request.
That's online? I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm not sure where that filters down through.
yeah.
That's the start, that it should be going through the process. Just like every, go through the grant application and then determine if it's something engaged, It sounds like more of an engaged, similar to the where that we, think, I would think any of that, not just the library or any other organization, should go use the process of form and then go to, if it goes to Engage says, yes, we can do it, but they could come to us and say, well, we think it's worthwhile, but we don't have the funding, and we help them with the funding to offset the, facilitate. But I think it needs to be going through the process rather than just making a motion.
Mark, do we know, does Engage have its own form for this?
They do not.
So I know that the form that we're used, some others, that's specifically generated by the tourism, it comes back to the, to answer your question, it would come here.
And then if we say, let's send it to Engage for their funding, then recommendation, help them, or, that would be the best approach. Unless you're running down a rabbit hole.
So that would be the route to go.
The route to go would
Okay.
be to say to library, tourism commission, I'm going to go there. They have a grant application. Let's qualify. Take a look at it together. And if we think we qualify based on criteria, write it up and send it with our request.
I think I know the answer to the question I'm about to ask. Bill probably knows it better. Per the state statute, we use money that doesn't generate overnight stays. We, tourism.
Yeah, Tourism Commission should, an entity, should be spending money on functions that generates overnight stays at more than one property with. So that's really the lens that I look through at, because that's what I do every day. Right?
Yeah. And that leads me to question, yeah, doing something like this feels good for the city, but does it fit statute?
Right.
If we grant,
Putting on my industry hat for a minute.
Right.
And that's why we decided to go to Engage.
Right. And it's okay if Engage spends the money. If we give Engage money, and they spend it on community events.
they don't have a state statute that they have to
Right.
answer.
Well, they do,
Then
because
it's
it's still
okay.
room tax dollars, so it's still supposed to be spent on generating the overnight stays. They're the ones that are providing that service for us. But typically, a DMO, like a Convention Visitor Bureau or a Chamber of Commerce, has other sources of revenue to offset that for things like PR.
And Engage does have other sources when they start selling stuff for their tourism, the city guide.
So, and that's an important thought to keep in mind for this October 5th. Things we have a good discussion about. We'll never move off of this kind of issue with trying to fund things that are community related, but do not fit the definition of increasing overnight stays. And if that DMO has its own revenue sources that are not tied to city room tax dollars, okay, make those decisions.
Yeah.
But they may need help in building some of those mechanisms that would help with marketing dollars for overnight stays, but also there's a provision that they can use. They're generating revenues, whether it's off the guidebook or it's the website that allow them to have a pool of funds. Those.
And
I think that's always been there.
That's why we first started talking about Engage, because we needed something like that.
Right. Is that?
I think,
so
well,
the next step
yes,
might be
yes,
to
that
create
helped
that
clarify,
application.
because I really, knowing the discussions we've had in past meetings, I wasn't quite sure. The support was certainly appreciated last year, was going to be possible.
On the 2026 budget. So that we've got something to really look at maybe the next. Is it appropriate, John, if you and I put some things down that can actually. Thank you. I don't know what you're.
You want me to send you the place? You want me to send you the
Could you
placeholder?
send me?
So, I mean, I told you my philosophy. I just wanted this to be your budget
Right.
because you're the ones that are responsible for spending the money, taking specific positions and policies on it. So I really have to say.
But I'd like your idea. It'd be nice to list in writing your scenarios that would lead to a budget, which basically the discussion. But it would be nice to have that. Look at and go, oh, did that, it would look like this. And I commit to working with you on getting it done. Sounds like you're really going to, but I commit to doing that with you. And I don't know what your schedule looks like. 2 or 3 weeks.
There's always lots going on, but there's not always a meeting.
Right. Anything, before we leave then, is there anything else you'd like to mention?
Would it be helpful for that conversation for you guys to ask Engage Franklin for year-to-date financial statements that show you how they're performing versus the budget, and if we increased it by X dollars or whatever, or give you some ideas in terms of how you budget that out, or is that premature?
I think it's a fair question.
Laura said she has the actual.
She was going to send me it
Right.
today, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't we have that? Okay. Because again, I think we've introduced it under new business. We carry this to unfinished business for the next agenda. Talk more about it. Be in a position to approve a budget that can be presented. We do have under invoices, we have one voucher that needs a table. And it is, the last page of your packet is the 75% of receipts from the city, totaling $86,000. That's, so, question. Drive, this is our 75% of what comes in. We're paying it out now as it. Very good about it. Together we'll get it out. So, motion, move this voucher request. Engagement.
I move to approve the payment voucher to Engage.
Barbara. 2008. Agreement.
Second.
Bill. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Act you're approved. Just to sign this one.
I'll sign this one. Put off and you can have that one.
We'll budget for next meeting. So I do want to talk about that. Not that I have to be present, but Hilton has a leadership conference down in Florida that week of the 17th. So we've gone to. I won't be.
Oh, I thought you were inviting.
Well, we could take a band down there. So I don't. I mean, again, we can leave it on that date. That's fine. And how's that date work for everybody else? I guess. And for everybody else does. How we should say.
Is the Wednesday either before or after that week possible
For me, yes.
for you,
But,
everybody else?
But,
Wednesday after.
24th?
right, so I'm around on the 24th. Yeah, 17 is good for all four of you. Solid
I
quorum.
can do either.
clerk's office, finalize the agenda, for the calendar for the next month. I got it this. Well, that's how it is. They'll change it on the signs out front, and they'll change it on my calendar. And they'll change it on the room calendar.
All right, there's that. You bet. All right, so the 24th, 6 p.m. Motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Mark, and second by Barbara to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.